Feeling good. Need to keep winning to get to where we want to. But we're going in the right direction. Big dope.
It's a streak. It's good. Feeling good. Good to take care of home. Got one more.
Let's make it 5. Big one on Friday.
I'm not surprised. Y'all can be surprised. I'm not.
Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Risacher is back at it again for another Believe in Hawks episode. Hawks now win 4 in a row, beating the Charlotte Hornets tonight, 123-110 in a game where the Hornets were game. It wasn't the prettiest game of basketball, but the Hawks were able to come out on top, get the win, continue the winning streak, and also continue to extend their lead for the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference play-in. So Hawks all good around from that perspective. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Audio listeners, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends about Believe in Hawks. Appreciate all the love. Also follow me on X at Bricey_2K, BRICY. And I also am getting back into writing, guys. Just dropped an article on my website, Brice2ksports.com. I just dropped an article on Dyson Daniels. I'll probably link that either in the description or in the comments down below if you want to take a read at that. So, like I said, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode, and let's go ahead and dive into it. So, I mean, it's pretty simple, how this game went tonight. This is probably another game that you would say this is a game that the Hawks should take care of business, right? Hornets, they have some talent. We know LaMelo can get on a heater. Mark Williams is a talented center. Miles Bridges is a really good scorer in this league. But for the most part, they're not a great basketball team. And the Hawks should have won this game, and they won the game like they should. So, I think we're pretty happy about that. Like I said, the biggest thing is more about, you may say, how they won the game, or, especially that first half, they really didn't take control of the game, I guess you could say, quote unquote, but the third quarter was when they really kind of opened the lead up, and then they were able to kind of have it ride in from there. So this was also the first night with the return of Vic Krejci. Trae Young came back tonight. LeVert came back tonight. Clint Capella was ruled out with personal reasons, family reasons. So Barlow got the backup center minutes. So this is the first time the Hawks have ran a 10-man rotation with, quote-unquote, full strength. And this is probably what it will be moving forward. I like that. Quinn kind of mentioned it, touched on a little bit after the game. He talked about how it just helps guys stay fresher, because now you don't have to go to the 9-man rotation, and then someone else has to play more minutes. You have that, and you have options. And Krejci adds another option for them if they want to go with somebody down the stretch to also go in that direction. Now, Quinn did make a controversial decision after Risacher sat in the third quarter, did not see any more minutes for the rest of the game, and I'll dive into that here in a little bit, but just some little tidbits from the game tonight. So let's get into some numbers real quick for the Hawks. Hawks actually did not shoot better than the Hornets tonight. Hornets shot 45% from the field. The Hawks shot 42%. Hawks also didn't win the three-point battle. So Charlotte had a better offense tonight. But the game was won for Atlanta at the free throw line. 39 attempts tonight. I believe that is a season high for the team. They made 35, 89%. Obviously, free throw shooting has been an issue for this team at times, but tonight they hit their free throws. And the man really leading the charge at the free throw line was Trae Young. He shot 21 free throws and made all 21, which is tied for the third most made field goals in a game in NBA history. So Trae Young got to the line tonight, helped him lead himself to a 35, 7-12 game. Big game for Trae tonight. And, sometimes that's how you win games in this league. It's funny because in today's NBA, I think so many people, when they talk about some of the scores in the game, talk about how some of these scores, they're just getting to the free throw line. They're free throw merchants, is what you hear, right? So now if a player shoots 21, 22, 23 free throws, people are like, that's not real basketball. That's not real offense. At the end of the day, it's not about how you get it. It's about how many you get. And if Trae Young's racking up points at the free throw line, then so be it. And I think Charlotte tonight, obviously, made some mistakes, were undisciplined at times against Trae, and Trae really tests your discipline when he's trying to draw fouls. And sometimes when they try to trap Trae at times tonight, he was able to get fouled just because they're playing too physical, over physical. And then he was able to get those opportunities at the line and create easy points. And when you have someone like Trae Young, who's automatic right now from the line, I think that just leads to the obviously success for the Hawks offensively. You're ending possessions with some type of points. And, I think a lot of people also know the fact that he intentionally broke that free throw streak against the Pacers to win that game. Now he's already came back, made 21 tonight. So, that streak could potentially be approached in the next few games as well. So, that was obviously a big stat to really point out the difference where even though Charlotte may have made more shots and shot better from three, the Hawks made it up through the free throw line. Hawks also didn't win the assist battle. So Charlotte had 29. Atlanta had 26. Charlotte won the rebounding battle tonight, 47-43. But Hawks won in fast break points, 14-6. Hawks had 13 steals tonight. They had 13 offensive rebounds tonight, and they had 25 points off turnovers. So a lot of those other statistics that can also be a difference maker in games like tonight reared its head. The free throw line, turnovers, fast break. Hawks won those battles, and that led to them having success over the Hornets tonight. So those were some things that obviously really stand out. And the Hawks also forced 21 turnovers tonight on the Charlotte Hornets. So they were active defensively, creating turnovers. We know Charlotte isn't sometimes the greatest team in terms of shot selection and can be very sloppy with the ball. I believe they're one of the bottom 10 teams in turnovers in the league. So with that known as well, the Hawks knew a weakness of their team. They were able to exploit it tonight, take advantage, and they were able to create opportunities off of it and get some easy looks for the team. So really, really good stuff there. And really this game, I think you kind of you just need every win you can get. Just, you're building something. And I said this up to Twitter. I said the biggest thing for me right now that I want for this Hawks team, outside of playoffs and winning the play-in and things of that nature, I just want the Hawks to have a winning season. I just want the Hawks to have more than 41 wins, because I think for the process and the plan that they've put in place here in Atlanta, Landry and Kyle and Quinn, with all the injuries that you've had, and people feeling like after Jalen Johnson went down, deflated the fan base, and you saw the team very much struggle, had one of their longest losing streaks when that happened. I think if they're still able to end this season with a winning streak, it just shows the process is working. It shows the culture. It shows the development they've invested into this team and these players for them, where they have created this system where now they're becoming more sustainable in terms of being able to win ball games, even through some of the trials and tribulations that you go through during an 82-game season. And I just think, too, we haven't had a winning season in 3 seasons. Last one was DeJounte's first year, I believe, with the Hawks. It was the last time we had a winning season, I think. I could be wrong about that. We might have went 500 that year, actually. So, actually, no. Last time we were over 500 was the year before DeJounte came. We were 500 the year DeJounte was there, then losing record the next year. So, yeah, basically 3 seasons since we've been over 500, had a winning record, right? And the Hawks, with this winning streak, is now putting themselves within a range to do that. I think, that's something that, I would really think, like I said, you'd want. And you've heard them say right now the team needs to rack up wins. They're trying to rack up wins. They're trying to rack up victories and move forward, right? Right now, if you're the Hawks, you're sitting at 31-34. So you're 3 games below 500, right? You're on a 4-game winning streak, everything. You got the Clippers coming up, who gave you a big win tonight over Miami, helps increase your lead over them. You're a game and a half up on Orlando, right? So, just like I said, if you're able to finish with a winning season, I think that just would be great. And like I said, it shows the progress and the growth this team has made. And with the schedule they have to end the year, it's not impossible. It's not something that it's far fetched. Like the Hawks, if they continue to play good basketball, and it's like this: if they can beat the Clippers, right, who rest a lot of the guys tonight, so I'm assuming guys like Harden and Kawhi are going to play Friday, so that'll be a tough game. You get through them, you have a game Nets team, very competitive ball club. Get through that game. You got the Hornets again. You could be 500 going into the Warriors game. And even if you lost the Warriors game, you got the Sixers, you get back to 500. Then you got 3 playoff teams where Rockets, you probably think you maybe could be able to beat them. And that's a 3-game road stretch too. So we'll see how they handle it. But could maybe beat them 6, Heat, that's obviously a huge game just to win that tiebreaker, win the season series, finish them off. And then the Bucks, who it's been back and forth with multiple times with this team. You're having that 5th deciding season game with them. Then you got Portland. You have Portland, the depleted Mavericks, the Knicks, the Jazz, the Magic, Nets, Sixers, and Magic. You get yourself, I think, within 2 to 3 games of 500. That last 5 games, Hawks very much could end this season with a winning record. So the path is there. The Hawks just have to continue to play good basketball to be able to achieve it. And I think that's something that they can definitely do. And I think it's also just good, to show. I always like to say, like, when we have certain performances or certain stretches, it really is great for what Quinn is trying to establish with the team. Because now he could say, you believed in what we did. Now we have a winning season. You believed in what we did. Now we're in the postseason. And so those things just kind of further increase belief from the team in what's happening. And so now people and the players are like, okay, I want to see where we can go. Because the thing about the season that makes it interesting is now everything's going to be viewed from the lens of if we had Jalen. So however the season ends, you're going to assume that it could have been better if Jalen Johnson was healthy. But at the same time, we also can make the same assumption if Jalen was healthy, would they have made the same trades they made? Maybe. They may have made the same trades. We have no idea. So, I think those are things to look at right now. And I think that would be a goal that I would like to try to obtain this year, is to finish with a winning record, for sure. But now let me get to the other thing. So Risacher tonight played 21 minutes, 8 points, 4 rebounds. He was subbed out midway through the third quarter, right? Never saw the court for the rest of the game. I know a lot of people were wondering about that. Obviously, Risacher's minutes have been a big topic of discussion within the Hawks fan base because a lot of people have wondered about, if you're big on development and he's your first overall pick, why is he not seeing the floor more? I mean, a lot of people think there may have been minutes restrictions. Quinn's been trying to not overextend Risacher. His season did end later than a lot of rookies. It just, obviously Risacher is still growing his body. Still, he's still very young. So, maybe the coach is just not trying to put that type of stress in terms of minutes and the physical play of the NBA on him to that degree, unless, obviously injuries happen. But really the last few games before Krejci came back, he's been playing a lot of minutes. And tonight, Krejci, with the team at full strength tonight, with the 10-man rotation that they have, the minutes are a little different. I think the one player that people look at when they look at minutes is Niang, because people feel like we can sacrifice Niang minutes for Zach. Even though Niang brings the shooting and the veteran presence and things of that nature, some people know that his defense is a liability. And so people are like, why don't we sometimes give Zach the opportunity in that spot to finish games, close games, especially because you're going to have LeVert in your closing lineups. So that, is going to take away from Zach potentially ending, because pretty much is going to be Dyson, Trae, and LeVert who are ending games because of what they can do. Teams try to trap Trae. You got 2 guys who can break down the defense in Dyson and LeVert. So really the only spot you have available for him to play is that 4 spot. And Quinn has showed he prefers to go with Niang in most situations just because of the shooting and just veteran experience, knowing how to win games, things of that nature. And also again with Krejci back tonight, remember he played 15 minutes, so he's also taking some minutes from a guy like Zach, like with him back. And Krejci has been good back. He scored 11 points tonight. He was 3 of 3 from 3. So with him back, that takes minutes away from Zach. And then, I mean, even Barlow almost had 20 minutes tonight. So it's one of those things where I think people are going to be curious about where this leads. I mean, even Mo Gay, people haven't talked about, but Mo Gay's minutes was cut tonight. He has been getting around 20 minutes a game since he returned to the lineup after not playing in the one game. He's averaged around like 21, 22 minutes. He played 14. So Quinn is taking some minutes from the young guys and giving it to guys off the bench. I think this is where the Hawks are, because I think even though they have very much prioritized development, they are also still trying to win games. And I don't know if it's necessarily an indictment on Zach of, oh, they don't think he can win, but obviously they know Zach is a player who's growing. They know Zach is a guy who's still learning, developing, getting more comfortable, things of that nature. And so Niang, I would think in terms of a coach, and certainly with Quinn and Niang's relationship, because they already have history from Utah, there is more trust there. I think this is kind of what we went through a little bit with Bogey at times, where some people were like, we're finishing games with Bogey, but maybe we should have finished with somebody else. Because I think there's just a trust there of like, you know what Bogey is capable of. He's a veteran, things of that nature. And so, you know, the coach maybe is comfortable just putting him out there in those types of situations. And that could be what is happening with Niang. Now, I think that Zach definitely could have came back in for a stretch of minutes at least. I mean, he at least easily could at least play 4 or 5 more minutes in this game if you're going to at some point in the fourth quarter. But it seems like early in that fourth quarter, Quinn went back to like kind of the team he wanted to kind of try to close with, and he just kind of stuck with that. So I think to me, that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on as we continue to move forward with the rotation and with what's coming up with the team in terms of the minutes, because is Zach going to go back to that 20, 21, 22 minute range of playing time? And then how does Quinn adjust those rotations to like accommodate that? Because again, I would assume if Zach's playing really, really good basketball, Quinn would play him more. I mean, technically tonight, he didn't play great offensively, but defensively, I think Zach made a very big impact tonight. So I think that's something that you can also look like as well. I actually saw a tweet about that, actually. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's see here. So Brad mentioned it because obviously he was another person who asked about why Risacher didn't play. He said Atlanta only allowed 0.8 points per possession with Risacher on the floor and 1.2 without him. So defensively, Risacher was making an impact for the Hawks tonight, but Quinn decided to not go with Krejci and Niang down the stretch. So something to keep an eye on. We'll see what's happening. I know a lot of people want to see Risacher play more. I've even said, listen, if you keep LeVert, even though we would love to keep LeVert, again, Jalen comes back. Risacher probably won't close next year just because who are you taking out? I mean, if Zach's outperforming LeVert, then I mean, that's obviously the obvious one. But outside of that, that's pretty much what you got, you know, because you're gonna have Dyson, LeVert, and Trae, and then you got to figure out who, and then Jalen's gonna be back. Yeah, so I mean, this would be the time to get him more minutes. You know, so we'll have to see. But let's go ahead and we will go into player performances. So, as I've said, Trae Young, 35, 7, and 12 tonight. Big stuff, man, from Trae Young. And Trae Young's had a very strong stretch of games recently. He's been playing really, really well. Trae Young, last 4 games, 35, 7, and 12, 36, 4, and 8, 22, 3, and 16, 28, 2, and 13. Those are the last 4 games he's played in. Trae Young has been very, very good. You need him to be very good. This is the time of the year for Trae Young to really take that next step. He also, the number of free throws he attempted tonight and made tonight, well, actually, the number of free throws he made tonight was the most of any player in a game this season. The highest was 18. Shea and Franz were 18, tied at 18, both with free throws made. So Trae Young, like I said, very active, very, very just leading the charge. And really in that third quarter, when the Hawks were able to kind of create that lead, is when Trae really kind of stepped up his game. He was attacking the defense of Charlotte. Charlotte was fouling. He was able to get a couple and ones as well. Those types of things are why Trae Young had a very effective night. Trae Young also is only the sixth player in NBA history to tally a perfect click from the free throw line with 21 or more attempts in a single game. So Trae Young continues to be a part of the history books as well with the performance he had tonight. And this is also his NBA leading 13th 30-point, 10 assist game, his 90th of his career, which is the fourth most in NBA history. So Trae Young continuing to move up the charts and playing very, very well. And a key tidbit tonight as well, going to the bench real quick. Hawks scored 50 or more points for the 20th time off the bench this season. It's the most games by the Hawks unit since starters were first compiled in box scores in 1970, 1971. And I believe in 2018, 2019, Hawks had 19 games of 50 points or more from the bench. This season, they've eclipsed 20. So Hawks PR giving out those numbers tonight. But as I said, Trae Young leading the charge and giving us the performance we need to do. And this is the performance you want to continue to see from your star going down the stretch. Dyson Daniels tonight, 10-5-3. Wasn't the best offensive outing, but still impactful. 4 steals tonight, 2 blocks in this game. Had a great chase down block in this game. He actually had the highest plus minus of all stars with plus 14 this game. Dyson continues to just kind of do everything. And I've said it multiple times on the podcast. Even if he's not necessarily scoring the ball, he still impacts the game in different ways, which makes him a very effective player and why everybody loves the Great Barrier Thief. That's why I've said to you guys, I will say it again. I wrote an article on Dyson Daniels on Bryce2ksports.com. I'll leave it down below if you guys want to go check that out. Kongu tonight had a quiet game. Kongu struggled a little bit tonight. Miles Bridges and Mark Williams gave him some problems tonight. And I'll give Miles Bridges some credit. I know some people may not like him because of the personal stuff. He played some good defense. He was very good. They were contesting every shot Kongu put up. And yeah, Kongu missed a couple of some bunnies, but 7, 10, and 1 tonight, 3 of 12 from field. Luckily you didn't need that like a great performance from him tonight in this game, but just something to point out. I expect Kongu to bounce back, play better next game. Like I said, we already talked about Zach, so we'll go ahead and go into Mo Gay. 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. And as I've said, every performance that Mo Gay plays in is another game to try to show the front office, to show Coach Quinn, to show this coaching staff that he deserves to be in the rotation next year. Because the Hawks will have some interesting rotation decisions to make depending on the moves they make this offseason. And Gay could be someone that they are like, well, he's already in the rotation now. We might as well keep him in it. It just depends if they feel like maybe they want to try to acquire an upgrade somewhere or they're willing to continue to allow him to grow and develop in the system. Because, he provides shot blocking, which is, like I said, his strength. Shot blocking obviously needs to improve as a finisher, improve the 3-point ball. But if he can get those things upped, Gay can become a legitimate player for them. Chris LeVert, 15, 4, and 2 tonight. 4 and 8 from 3. So that's really where he made his money tonight. He was shooting threes. Made 4 tonight, 50%, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. So LeVert had the highest plus minus of all bench players with plus 12. People have talked about that. He's became that second option for the Atlanta Hawks with Trae Young, especially why he closes games because of his ability to attack the ball, create for himself. And he just continues to be a really key piece to this team as him and Trae's chemistry continues to strengthen every game, and you see that. And LeVert obviously will be huge for the Hawks going down the stretch as well because, like I said, when they need another bucket maybe outside of Trae Young, LeVert is someone who can go get that. And so LeVert continues to play really well for this team. George Niang, 12, 4, 3 tonight. As I mentioned, some people are wanting kind of to cut down Niang's minutes to give other guys some run. Quinn has trusted him 2 of 4 from 3 tonight, 3 of 5 from the field, 4 free throws. He still performed well tonight. Everybody's, he did what, people needed him to do. He, Niang's going to be Niang's a player who I think every team has a controversial player where you're just like the fan base is split on him. And I think Niang's that player for the Hawks now. That people are going to be split on him because they know his weaknesses. And when they're exploited, why is he playing? And then when he's shooting it, he's a great G-Wagon. So, I'm not surprised when I see the mixed reaction on George's Niang. Terrence Mann, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists tonight. Solid game from him. Hey, Terrence Mann a dog. Terrence Mann a dog, man. He out here bodied LaMelo. LaMelo hit a 3. They were barking at each other. And then I remember, obviously, the Pacers game, he leveled Mandarin after he hit Man and they didn't call it. Man's a dog, man. He don't back down. And I love that. I know people have talked about on this Hawks team, they don't be having dogs. They got dogs now. Like man, a dog. So I love the energy he brings. And listen, he'll probably be very motivated because of who we're playing next game, which I'll get to in a minute. Barlow tonight. Clint Capella, like I said, out with family reasons. So Barlow getting some run tonight, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. I think he gave some good minutes tonight for the Hawks. Had a block, 2 steals. People obviously are ready for Clint Capella to leave. So if Barlow shows any type of positive play, they're ready to say, hey, let's just put Barlow instead of Clint. And I think there's definitely some good things for sure that I think Barlow has shown. And usually for him, with his ability to play spot minutes, the biggest thing for him is when he does get the opportunity, just taking advantage of those minutes and playing well, giving him good minutes, good contests around the rim, good just defense, rim protection, and then being able to score, because that's really where we know he's better than Clint is offensively. And so he has to really, when he comes to the game, get some of those shots up, make some, and be able to take advantage. And then Vic Krejci tonight, 11 points, like I mentioned, hit 3 of 3 from 3. He's been great. With him shooting the way he's shooting, he will be very important for the Hawks down the stretch. And I think you've also noticed, and think about this. Think about DeAndre Hunter's trajectory, right? He really improved his 3-point ball. And you notice one of the things that he improved was his release, quicker release. They mentioned it tonight on the broadcast. Vic Krejci has improved his release. It's a quicker release. He's making more threes. Clearly, there has been something they're finding where if we could speed the release up, that actually can make you more accurate as a 3-point shooter. Krejci's been able to exhibit that. The more he exhibits that, the better off it goes for the Hawks. And if he can provide this type of offense off the bench, it just makes him very playable. It makes him a very viable option when Quinn needs to make a decision on the rotation. But that's player performances. Hawks next game play the LA Clippers. That'll be an interesting game. Bogdanovich returns to Atlanta. He actually had a great game tonight. He had 20-plus points in the game against the Heat tonight, which I've mentioned helped the Hawks. So, I'm sure they'll probably play a video package for Bogey in the next game just because he was here for so long and what he's done for the team. So I'm not necessarily, expecting anything less, and I'm sure the guys are ready to play him too. I'm sure the guys are ready to play him too, but also they understand, hey, he's standing between us and a 5th straight win. So because they can win that and then they'll finish this homestand 5-1, which was great. To really get what they're doing at home before they're going back on the road for a couple of games. So we'll have to see how it goes. But obviously that would be the next game for the Hawks to try to continue to push forward. But I think that's about all for me here on Believe in the Hawks. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. Definitely subscribe if you enjoyed the episode. Like the video. Leave a comment down below on anything we discussed or anything you want to bring up. Audio listeners, same thing. Appreciate you guys tuning in wherever you are, on any platform you are, whatever you're doing. Appreciate it for sure. Letting me be part of your day. And then follow me on Twitter or X at Bricey_2K, BRICEY_2K. And once again, y'all go ahead and hit my website, Bryce2ksports.com. Dyson Daniels article dropped. I'll continue to have some other articles drop as the weeks go on. So trying to get back into the writing game. But like I said, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. It's your boy Bryce Lewis. See you next time.